Only you and I stand innocent of reading other people's correspondence.
Unluckily, Lady Mannering also learned out of her husband's servant that Mannering visited you in private.
Oh. Facts are horrid things.
Hi. We watched the movie. Hey.
Well, Grandma,
Yes, sir. How was the movie?
we have some passengers in the back, which we will hear from later. But first, our review. What did you think of Love and Friendship? An adaptation of Jane Austen's novel, I guess. All about Lady Susan and her...
Lady Susan Vernon.
Lady Susan Vernon and her...
A widow.
A widow.
Mm-hmm.
And how she interacts with all these various relatives and friends and such in the English countryside and in London
Victorian
and
England.
back and forth and all of that. So what did you think of the movie, Grandma?
I thought it gave us a fascinating look into Victorian England upper class. Very, very regimented. Is that the word? That a society,
you could say
a
that.
society with all kinds of behavioral rules that everyone understood and more or less accepted and followed. And it was very interesting to watch them interact. And of course, the language was fabulous.
Well, again, what you call this, I think, Grandma, is a comedy of manners, as they say.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
I agree with that. The manners, the customs of the time were very much a part of the story. It was very important to the story that we accept the fact that these characters in our story acted this way and understood that this was proper for anyone to do. So it was, I thought, very interesting. I am a fan of the writing, the language. The characters were very well depicted by the actors. I appreciated the movie makers' captions identifying everyone at the beginning of the story. I thought that was very helpful, since it was very complicated interactions between the husbands, wives, cousins, in-laws. It was important that we understood the relation of everybody to everybody else. Lady Susan.
I believe they did that in the books of the time, though. They would, because they
You
had
think
a
so?
lot of characters.
Yes,
They would,
that is true.
at the beginning, sort of show all the relations and who they were, that sort of thing.
And because the relationships were very, very important. Lady Susan was an interesting character. She was very, very bright, very, very well versed in what was required of her in this society. Being a widow without support, no husband, no income, no home of her own. And the story follows her and how she handles that. She's very good at manipulating situations and manipulating people. It was all very, very clear to us, to those who were watching us, what she was doing. I thoroughly enjoyed it. What did you think?
Well, let's see. I thought it was, I don't know, sort of interesting. I'm not all that crazy
Only
about
sort
it.
of.
No, I mean, again, it's very, very heavily weighted towards the language and the
Yes.
words
Yes.
and again, the characters. Again, it's sort of interesting. It's got some interesting characters, but I mean,
I heard you
As a-
chuckle a couple of times.
Yes, I mean they have some
There were some funny things.
characters and some funny parts to it.
Especially Sir James, when he came on,
He was sort of fun.
he was.
But I mean, overall, I mean, there's not a lot more than that. Again, it's so heavily weighted towards the language and what they're saying, and you want to get anything out of it, you have to, again, pay attention to what they're saying so much.
Very careful.
Because there's not really a lot going on. There's not a lot in terms of people's actions or what they're doing, where they're going.
Well, even the
things
actions are very controlled.
Again, they're not really doing much. The action
There is
is
no
all in the words.
No action.
No, the action is all in the words, Grandma. Again, in this particular case, again, especially in the case of Lady Susan, she is such a master of words that in any particular situation, she's able to turn it to her advantage. She will.
You realize that quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, again, in any particular situation, sometimes something will go wrong, and she's able to turn it through her words to her advantage, to go her direction. She's a master of that. Again, so it's a very fascinating character. The whole world revolves around her, and everything.
That's
all
her
these,
intention. That's right.
all these people's actions are all sort of basically reacting to her. I don't think that's enough for me to recommend it, though. Just this one character and her mastery of the language and whatever. Because there's really not that much going on in it. Again, it's really all their manners and what they're saying, what they're doing, how they say it, what they do. Again, it's sort of interesting, but again, not that interesting. So I wouldn't recommend it. What would you say, Grandma?
Oh, I would. Yes. However, you have to be prepared to pay close attention to what they're saying. Listen carefully to each conversation. Tune in to what Lady Susan's intent is, and hang in there. It is not a movie where you can just sit back and relax and let everything flow to you. You have to intentionally get in there. So it's not a relaxing film. It is one that requires a very close attention.
So would you give it any
I would
thumbs
give
up?
it at least one thumb.
At least one?
It's not a two-thumb movie. It's not going to appeal to everyone, but I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Well, we are lucky to have granddaughters Amy
Yes.
and Megan with us today.
Amy and Megan.
They did not see this movie. They instead saw The Jungle Book and are going to give us a special quick bonus review of The Jungle Book.
Come over here where the camera can make a good picture.
Yeah,
of
come
you.
in the center at least when you're going to say something. Who's first? Megan?
I'll go.
What'd you think?
I thought it was pretty good. The little boy actor, he was like, he was very derpy. And I feel like at the beginning I didn't really like him because it seemed like he was just like reading off his lines. I don't know, just like really not like scripted.
Okay.
It wasn't like as good at the beginning, but then it got better. I liked the end. I liked it when they had more songs and stuff.
Okay. Amy, what'd you think?
About the same.
Come over in the center so the camera can see you. So, what'd you think?
About the same.